Hi there, and a warm welcome to another episode of Today's Current, where we connect you with experts and provide you with information to make your parenting journey a bit more easier. Talking about connecting you with experts, today we want you to connect you with an expert who's going to take us through adoption. Have you ever thought about adopting a child? Then this show is for you. Welcome to the show. Let's welcome Shanice. Shanice Kaimenyi, what a pleasure to have you again.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me back.
Nice to have you.
Thank you.
Adoption, define for us, what is adoption? I know you are a lawyer, so you'll give us the legal aspect of it. What is adoption? What is considered to be adoption?
Well, adoption is basically there are two ways to get a child: natural birth,
Right.
and adoption. So adoption is where the legal technicalities come in, and the court actually declares that this child is yours by birth, and you'll be given a certificate of birth. So those are the differences: natural birth and adoption.
Okay.
Ways to get a child.
Okay.
Yes.
So adoption is when the court gives me the child.
Yes, and after quite a huge process, and then now you go to court and argue your case, and the court will give orders, and the child becomes yours. Like there's nobody who can take it away now.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Take us through the adoption process in this country. How does it go like?
Now, the first step is to identify an adoption society. Currently in Kenya, there are 6 or 7 located in different places within, mostly Nairobi,
Right.
and the branches outside of the county. So you go to one of them, and they actually counsel you and explain the repercussions and the effects of adoption. They give you paperwork for you to take to your doctor, to a medical report. They require the police clearance certificate, bank statements. So they give you quite a number of things that you have to present back to them, so that they'll come to your place and figure out whether it's conducive for a child.
Okay.
Yes, and then now the case committee of that society will sit. It has a doctor, a lawyer, social worker. It has a number of professionals sit case by case, and then come up with a decision.
All right.
If you're approved, then they start doing something called matching. So no, you don't go to a home and say, I want this child. They match for you, they're experts. And then once they get the child that is matching with your profile, you're told, go to this home, we found a child for you. So the parent goes and you start bonding with the child at the home.
All right, Shanice, I want us to go back so you can
Yes.
take us in detail, step by step. When you talk about, number one, do you identify the home you want to work with, or the agency? Is that where it starts from?
No, you
Or
identify the agency.
So you identify the agency, and you mentioned there are 6
There's
agencies.
Bakna Kenya on Thika Road. There is Change Trust on Gong Road. There is Child Welfare, CWSK, on Langata Road. There is Bernardo's, Kenya Children's Homes.
Oh, Thomas,
Lang-
that's different
yes.
from Thomas Bernardo's? or
It's
is it
it's
same?
a home and also a society.
Okay.
Yes, on Langata Road. There's KKPI in Nairobi West.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are the ones that are and Little Angels,
And Little
Kindaruma
Angels.
Road. Yes.
How then, as a parent, or as somebody who's thinking to become a parent through adoption,
Yes.
how do you choose among the 6, or when you're looking for an agency to adopt through,
Yes.
what are the things to look out for?
Actually, you can walk into any, depending on where you live, the closest one to you. And even though you find that you don't even know where they are located, where to go, even a children's home, they will advise you go to this society. Yes. And they will give you the directions to the society.
Okay.
Then from there, the society will take it up.
So then you mentioned after you go to the society, they take you through a counseling process.
Yes.
Why is that important?
Very important, because they have to explain to you, a child, even Africa as a community, the whole world, a child doesn't just belong to the couple, it belongs to their
society,
family
the village.
members, the society. So they take you through counseling to explain, do you realize what you're doing, especially for the ones who don't have children. So they'll ask, do you realize what you're doing? Do you realize the repercussions of what you're getting into?
What are the repercussions? It makes it sound that there's a negative connotation to it.
Oh, not really. It's because, you see, with natural birth, you find yourself pregnant and you have to carry the child for 9 months. So you're preparing yourselves. You're buying the cribs and you're buying everything you need to buy.
Very true.
Yeah, but now for an adoption, this child is what I can say ready-made. So you have to be prepared psychologically that once this child is placed in your home, you are a parent, whether you gave birth or not.
Can you take them back?
That is why you get the 3 months of bonding.
Right.
If the child refuses to bond with you, Or if you refuse to bond with a child, then you can take back. Of course, it will harm your chances in the society, but there has to be good reasons, because sometimes children can reject the
A
parents.
potential parent.
Yes, they can reject. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then a potential parent goes through the counseling phase.
Yes.
Okay.
Counseling phase. All that happens before you're even placed with the child. So once the child has come home,
So
then
after counseling, the child comes home.
after counseling, you go to approval. Sorry,
So you go for approval.
to the case by the case committee.
And the case committee, is it in court or is
No,
it
no,
at
no.
the
At
agency?
the agency.
At the agency, right?
Yes, they have the experts sitting down to look at everything you've presented. If they're not satisfied, they'll tell you, tell the parent to bring ABCD. So until they are satisfied that you're a good prospective adoptive parent, then they will approve you. And you get a letter saying you've been approved as a adoptive parent. Then now they start the process of looking for a child. This is where they look at your profile and they match you. You know, how you look like, likes, dislikes, you know, then they match you with a child.
Okay.
Yes.
Shanice, I have a question for you.
Yes.
When you talk about matching and the documentation that you need to submit, I'm then wondering, for me to be considered for adoption, do I need to have a minimum bank balance for me to be considered for adoption?
It depends, because one thing people cannot deny, blood is thicker than water. Your own child you will give your life for, you will give your liver for. So the question that comes is more, a very sad question, but they'll ask, what would you do if this child does not come from your womb? So what are you able to provide for this child? Are you just taking a child because you don't have a child and society said you must have a child? You must have good reasons. So if you're not able to show that you can take care of this child, because the child is eating at the home, the child is going to school at the home. So you imagine you remove a child from that and you bring it home and then she becomes a house girl or something, then what is the point? That is why they check the ability. We're not saying that you have to be, you know, rich.
Absolutely.
Just ability to take you to care. You have a job, you have an income, you have backup in case you lose your job.
You can take care of the child.
Yes.
Right. So
Yes.
what happens after the case committee part?
Now, after they approve you, they take your profile to the homes that they work with. Each agency works with a number of homes, and then they are experts, they are social workers who match you. Yes, so they'll go around homes with your profile and they match you. This comes with looks. Complexion is very important. Sometimes where you reside, you cannot maybe take a child from, let's say, the nest in Runda and take them to Kibera. So because the child is used to a certain lifestyle. So this is all the things that they consider, and then they match with the prospective parent.
Okay.
Yes.
What happens after that?
They call you and tell you we found a baby in this home. So the parents will go. So they will, whether the home is in Nanyuki or Nairobi, wherever it is, people make sacrifices. So for almost 2 weeks, they will bond with the child at the home. They cannot take the child out of the home in case
they come to the home.
Yes, yes. So some provide places to sleep, and some maybe you can come in every day. Just bond with this child in particular, and only this child, to see that the child will agree to live with you. Because at times the children are older, so they know that they are being adopted. And it happens even with infants. Even young, you have to bond with them. If they don't, you touch them, they scream, then you're told no. So you take the baby home for 3 months.
There has to be a connection.
Must be a connection, and you're being supervised, yes. Must be a connection.
That must be a very tense moment. It's like an exam you need to pass.
Well, at least the good thing is that we're human beings, so our babies tend to bond as long as, but there are some people who are just not maybe born to be parents, and a baby can tell that I don't think I'll be happy, because we all have instincts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
From the point of going to the agency to the point where you've gone to the home and you're playing with the baby, how long does that take?
It depends, agency to agency, maybe about 3-4 months. But there are times when there are just no babies. Most people want girls, and now, so girls who are really adopted.
Well.
Yes, you choose the age and you choose the sex of the child, the gender. So, yes.
I have a question there, because I thought that if you're a guy, you can't adopt a girl, and
what happens that if you're a single man,
or if you're a single man,
yes, you can only adopt a boy on condition. For example, if it's kinship, if it's family. And then if, again, you're a homosexual couple, you're not allowed to, because Kenya does not allow that. Then if you're a single woman, you cannot take a boy unless you have a child of your own or you've adopted another child before.
Of any other sex?
Yes, mostly if you're a single female, if you have a girl, because that's the first thing you'll be given, and then now you can take a boy for your second adoption.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
For the social worker, at what point do they come to the home?
To your home?
To my home, yes.
Yes. Now this is when this is before you're approved. They come over to see, do you have space? There are people who, for example, a couple and they live in a room. So, and somehow they have somebody working and cleaning for them. So the agency will figure out then how, where are you going to put the baby? Because in some cases you're not even allowed to sleep with the baby in the same, because maybe even the bed is small. The child is used to being in a crib. You cannot. Yes. So there are a lot of things to consider. If children are in cribs, then you cannot take this child and start sleeping with the child.
All right.
Yeah. So must have space for a crib. Where will the child play? Is it safe outside? Is it, conducive for this child? Yeah, so they take these extra measures again because of the fact that it's not blood. That is why they have to really protect. These are children of the government. Yeah. So the government will take every step to protect them. Yeah, to make sure they're going to a good place.
Okay.
Yes.
As a legal practitioner, you're a lawyer, Shanice.
Yes.
At what point do you come in the process?
After the 3 months, everybody's satisfied, the child is happy, the parents are happy, then they come to a lawyer. The agencies will always advise you go to a lawyer who practices adoption, because it's very different.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, it's always good to go to a specialist, just as you do with a doctor. So there are lawyers who, we are trained in everything, but we specialize what we prefer to do. So you go to a lawyer who does adoption, and they will actually take you through the court process. Yes.
You know which makes me very curious. What made you, or what attracted you to adoption law?
Yeah, where I was employed before I started my own farm, we actually did international adoptions. So I learned everything from the Hague Convention. I dealt with different countries. We also did local. So I got very interested. When you see, because we volunteered because of our job, we went to children's homes. So when you see the difference between a child in a home and a child placed with a loving family, and you see how that child just grows and just blossoms. And I thought, this is something you leave, this is a legacy you leave behind. So I chose that. Yes.
All right. Shanice, you're going to take a short break, and then when you come back from the break, you'll share more with us when it comes to adoption.
Sure, I will. Thank you.
On today's episode of Today's Parent, we are getting a better understanding of the process of adoption in Kenya. We have lawyer Shanice Kimenyi, who's sharing with us matters adoption. We're going to take a short break right now. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to today's episode of Today's Parent, where we are talking about adoption. In studio today, we have Shanice Kimenyi, who's a lawyer, taking us through the process it takes to adopt a child here in the country. And right now, we are going to find out more when it comes to adoption, the challenges you need to look out for, and any other pointers she can share with you. Shanice.
Yes.
We are back from the break. It's still lovely to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Always a pleasure. We have a question that has come in from Francis, and Francis's question is, what is the difference between adoption and fostering?
Right. Fostering is temporary, while adoption is permanent. So fostering is renewed every year, and the checks are not as stringent as those for adoption.
Okay.
Yes, but adoption actually gives you parental rights. You can make decisions as to school, hospital, all these decisions.
Okay.
Yes.
So what qualifies somebody to be fostered?
Any child in Kenya can be fostered. You go through the children's department and the home. This has nothing to do with the agency. But the problem with that is that if you don't renew every year, it means that the child can go back. So exposing a child to maybe different parents all their lives, could really be devastating for them.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it a popular option for parents, or?
They're trying to make it now, but no. Because again, as I said, you can't give a child a name or an identity.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. It's a funny joke I was sharing with my colleagues before we came back from the break.
Yes.
What's the cutoff age of being adopted? Can you be adopted beyond 15, 18, 20s, or it's childhood only?
Childhood only.
Only a child can be adopted.
They just define under 18.
So under 18 downwards?
Yes, because they're, at 18 you're an adult, so they presume you should be able to make your own decisions, even have your own child.
Wow.
Yes, yes.
So for a child who's 18 and over, don't have maybe possibly they're orphans, what are the opportunities for them to have parents? So they cannot be adopted, they can only
No.
be fostered?
I think you're fostering. I don't think they can actually be fostered because,
Wow.
again, everything is children's department, children's offices, children. But what happens is that if there's somebody taking care of their school fees and that person stops, they can actually sue that person to continue paying for their education.
Is that so?
Even a natural child can sue their parents after 18 for them to pay for their education. So the maintenance can continue until when they're able to sustain themselves. But it's not, no, this is for only children.
You know, recently there's been a case of somebody who sued their parent.
Yes.
They want to do an MBA.
Yes.
They are in business, but they feel since I'm still a child of my parent, you need to pay for my MBA.
No, not really. You can easily lose that case, especially if your parents have already given you the degree, and that is all you need for you to, yes, to sustain yourself. Yeah, so they have educated you to the point where it's move out and get a job.
All right,
Yes,
all right.
yes.
Let's get back on track. We started at the beginning with what adoption is, what the process of adoption is in this country. What are the challenges a parent can or somebody can anticipate when they're planning to adopt?
If you're not patient, if you get irritated fast, then it will be very ugly for you, because adoption is very patient, right from the stage of application and getting all the paperwork done, then waiting for a child and waiting and waiting. Some people have waited even over 1 year or 2.
Oh, so it can take a long time.
It can take a long time to at least that process. Then now coming to the court again, depending on the county you're going to, you also have to be patient because things have to be done, reports have to be made, strangers coming to your home and evaluating the whole house. So you have to be, patient for that to happen, because at the end of the day, you're getting a gift that is, it's a child. It's not a car. It's not a piece of land. It's a human being. So you have to be patient to get the baby.
All right. You mentioned if there's an issue and the child is unable to gel with me or I'm unable to gel with the child, can I be given an option to choose another child? Can I return back the child? Do I get a refund? How does the process work when it gets to that point?
Yes, that during these 3 months, which during this time, they're actually still conducting checks, because you have to report with the child to the agency so they can see how you're doing. And they will also come over to your place to see the
Go with
bonding.
the child to the agency?
Yes, and they'll also come over. So during these 3 months, you are actually, if you feel that we are not bonding, that the child is distressed, is not happy, is crying all the time, then yes, you'll be given a chance to return the child to the home. And then you will have to go back for approval to be placed with another child.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But once you've adopted, then no. That is why they go through all this, because once the adoption order is given, permanent, you're the parent.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Somebody who's thinking of adopting, the psychosocial support that is provided. I know you're in legal, but I'm just wondering, during that process, do parents go for the parents to be, do they go for counseling for a period of time? What support is there for them beyond the legal part?
Right. There is quite a bit, because you are provided counselors, you don't pay, and they are trained counselors. So they take you through a lot of counseling. The parents who attend church religiously, I think there are some churches that give Ndoa and Uzazi, and they encourage you go for these classes. The agencies also give parental classes, and they encourage meetings amongst the adoptive parents, because
Okay.
it's a very unique thing. So only a person who's gone through that will understand another person who's gone through that.
Yeah.
And they need it, because adoption is so foreign. People don't understand that it has been done for years and years and years. Right? If you go to the year 2000, Jesus himself was adopted by Joseph and Mary, though not in a court of law. Moses was adopted. So you go through, and as Africans, we've lived with somebody in our house growing
I have
up.
so many questions right now.
Mary and Joseph.
I understand you.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So for adoptive parents, you've said there are support groups which are available for them to join. Could be in the church.
Yes, and even the adoptive, most agencies actually connect their parents. So I know now, I think they have WhatsApp groups, they have Facebook groups for social media. They
Right.
the agencies try to have the meetups so that people can meet up and talk. Yeah, because if you have sisters or brothers who are anti this child, then that becomes a problem. So you need support from people who understand what you're going through. Yeah, that this is a child. It's still a child who was actually born. It's only that now God has chosen you to be the parent. Yes.
One day, I have my small brother, my last born brother, and the difference between them is 1 year.
Yes.
I don't know why the older sibling thought this was very funny. So she decided to tell my last born brother that uko hapo unaringaringa unajua uko adopted.
Oh.
So my brother was like crying his balls out, and my mother was wondering what the problem is.
Yes.
So then my brother tells my mother, Sylvia has told me that I'm adopted.
Yes.
My point is, there's a stigma around being adopted. I don't know why.
Yes.
How do you then break it down to a child, and at what point do you need to tell a child that they were adopted?
Yeah, we encourage that you need to tell this, especially if they have siblings, if you have other children. We encourage, you can start when they are young. Taking them to even 3, just
Wow.
going
As young
not
as
to tell
3.
them, yeah,
Okay.
but taking them to children's homes, having them volunteer, so they start seeing the difference between how fortunate they are to be in a family, and how unlucky these other children have to be to share beds, to be in a home, very structured, no one to take care of you. So let them grow up, and then when they're old enough, you can now reveal to them that, you were not in my tummy, but you're in my heart. That is where God put you.
That's beautiful.
Yes, so, yes.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So at what point can you tell a child?
It depends on the child. Children develop very, very different. So there are some who, even by 6, understand these things. There are some who may have to wait until they are 14 or 15, but this is teenage years. So either you have told them before or after, because
Right.
teenage years is very sensitive.
Yeah.
Yes.
But by law, are you required in the adoption process at some point to tell your child that you are adopted at 12, at 15? Are you required to do that as an adoptive
The
parent?
agency will advise it. The counselor will advise it. Is
Okay.
it written? No. Yes, but they tell you what happens. What if something happens and somebody tells the child at school that, by the way, your parents adopted you? And I know because people now put their lives on social media. So you just happen to be in the group of adoptive parents. That's enough for your child to know that, there is an issue here.
Yeah.
So yes. So tell them, because the world will tell them eventually.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's no shame in it.
And there's no shame,
it's a
because
beautiful thing
yes,
to,
it's a very
to be
beautiful.
part of a family.
Yeah, because you chose them. Yeah, so that is it's also how you tell them that I chose you.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Talking of challenges, how can an adoptive parent to be tell the difference between an unscrupulous agency and a bona fide, a proper agency? Because I'm sure there are people who've been conned out there.
Yes.
The dangers out there could be very real. Child trafficking cases.
Yes.
How do you as an adoptive parent protect yourself?
Now, unfortunately, yes, Kenya has been subject to a lot of scandal to do with children and trafficking. And I think it's lack of information. Say, for example, trafficking a child is so easy, it's unbelievably easy, nobody will go through the system. But if a parent has chosen to go through the system, has chosen to have the government come to your place and ask you very intimate questions, as a couple or as a single applicant, you've chosen to have an agency come into your home, then, you have that set of mind that you're doing the right thing. Yeah. And it's hard to say which is, but it shows, you can tell when you go and see how the children are treated, are they okay? How are the donations? Does this child have clothes? Are they healthy? Yes, so you can tell easily as a parent. You can be sent to a home and you're like, oh, I don't think I want my child coming from there. Yeah. Yes, but so agencies, they know which homes to deal with. So I've practiced adoptions for 10 years and we've never had anybody return or complain. Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. Yes. Shanice, as you're winding up, your top pointers to our parents who are watching.
Yes.
Pointers when it comes to adoption. What can you share with them?
Now, I'll share with them patience.
So number one, patience.
Patience, yes. Yes. Faith in a higher power.
What's the longest adoption patience case have you seen that somebody has waited and waited? What's too long that you need to look for an option B?
Yes.
You mentioned about over a year.
Yes. Of waiting. Okay. It depends again with the agency and how strict they are on actually going around and looking for a child. Because some agencies are very, very good. You can apply in January and by August they're calling you to come and meet your child. Right. So 1 year of waiting to be placed is okay. It's not bad at all. And then now, but the court process itself, it depends on the counties. The sub-counties now, it's taking 3 years. And then like Nairobi, around 9 months. So, because you see, we have the judges here and other counties have, there's really a lack of judges. Yeah.
Okay, so number one, patience.
Patience.
All right.
Have faith, whether it's in God. Well, I'll just say have faith in God. There's no point of going around circles. Have faith in God because He provided the child. Yeah, and, because we've had a lot of devastation. We've had parents and losing their children. We've had adopted children dying. We've had where you take an adopted child and then you lose your biological child. So we've had devastating, but people are still saying this is my child. I've made this decision. So the strength, supernatural strength, has to come from somewhere. It's not an easy thing to do.
Okay.
Not when you are married, especially, and his family is asking for a child. Your body can't. His body can't. So.
Okay.
Faith, wisdom.
Are there cases, I'm just wondering, are there cases of children who then grow up in an adoptive setting and then decide at 18 or 22?
Yeah, it's fine. Just like your own child, they can move out. It doesn't mean you stop your obligations. If they need to be, they need your help, then you help.
No, and if they decide they want to look for their biological parents,
yes,
and cut off ties with you, how can a parent handle that?
It rarely happens, but either way the records are kept. Because we've actually had somebody come
Even in this country?
Yes.
If I want to trace who my parents are, if I was adopted, I can find out?
Yes. In June, July, somebody went to Buckner Society on Thika Road from the US, and she had just come to thank the society because of where she was placed. And she came, looked at her file, saw her pictures as a child, because some of these children are abandoned there are some we've picked up from the latrine. So, you explain to them, by the time you're being picked up from the latrine and your life is saved, how would you trace, or how would you go back to those parents who threw you away, who actually killed you? Yeah, so, but their history is there. We don't put it away at all. We never close our files.
All right, so a child can always trace back their roots.
Yes, yes. And we give the parents everything from when the child was born or abandoned. Every information is there from the police, letters from everything is there. Yeah, so you can trace your roots if you want to. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming to share, Shanice.
Thank you too.
Thank you so very much. We have a better understanding of adoption because of you.
Thank you
for your time.
Thank you so much. It's a passion of mine. Thanks.
And with that, we come to the end of today's episode of Today's Parent, where we had Shanice Kimenyi, a lawyer who took us through adoption, the process of adopting in this country, and why it's important for us to give a chance to a child or two out there. If you need more information when it comes to adoption, please send us an SMS and we'll be able to connect to Shanice. I hope you enjoyed the show. We've been here in studio at Little Cribs, the home of exciting, durable, and affordable kids furniture. If you're looking for information when it comes to parenting to make you a better parent, head on to www.supermama.co.ke. It's been a pleasure having you. I have been your host, Christine Casina. We look forward to having you next time.